Hi, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Zelna and I'm the founder of the Kids Life Studio and the Kids Life Coach Academy. And today I am going to be doing a mastery session on how to support parents who are faced with overwhelm. Now, I've been coaching children for over 2 decades, and in my experience, my early experience was as a school teacher, school counselor, and now with a master's degree in clinical child psychology. What I learned is that when parents of children, especially children who have neurodevelopmental difficulties, learning difficulties, special needs, usually those parents work with a plethora of different service providers supporting them. And so today I wanted to spend time in this mastery session on how we can support parents as kids life coaches to be the glue that sticks things together for these parents to avoid overwhelm. Now, in cases where children do have special needs and um, parents approach us as kids life coaches, it's generally for one of two reasons. One, they've been referred by a service provider that they're already working with. Two, it could be that the parent is already working with a multidisciplinary team and they feel so overwhelmed and they don't know how to put the puzzle pieces together. And they've come to us to ask for help and support with skills training because we don't step into the same lane as other professionals, such as an occupational therapist, speech therapist, social worker, play therapist, child psychologist, educational psychologist, and that's just a few that I'm mentioning. So imagine as a kids life coach, a parent comes to you and they are faced with this team, this multidisciplinary team that is so important and integral in supporting their child, but everything is disconnected. The dots are all disconnected and they can kind of see the picture, but it's a little bit fuzzy. Our job as kids life coaches is to, like I said, build the dots, draw the lines for them so that they understand. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to understand everything there is to know. If you have done our kids life coach training and our certification, you would already have a really good solid foundation in place of the theory of kids life coaching, and that theory speaks into a trauma-informed approach, an approach that is neurodiverse. It respects equality, it has inclusion, and it has diversity. And so our approach already plays into that. And that is the good thing, is that we already understand how to work with families in this way, because kids life coaching is for all children, not just children with problems, not just children who have been labeled with a disorder or a disability, but for all children. And we see potential in every single child. So going back to supporting parents who are faced with overwhelm, you know, when a parent is working with this multidisciplinary team, every single team member has really good intentions, but very seldom do they communicate to each other. And they very much work in silos. In my experience, anyway, very seldom have I come across teams that work in a cohesive, coherent way. It does happen in some countries more than others. So it depends on where you are in the world. So bear that in mind. So when a parent is faced with this disconnection where they have these big words thrown at them and they don't understand what's happening with their child and they just want what's best for their child, what they want from you as a kids life coach is not more complication. They want simplification. Our role is to support parents to make life simpler. And the way we do that is by supporting the child in the family to work alongside the parent for better harmony within the home. So in terms of supporting the parent with this overwhelm, we can do that in one of three ways. The first way is we support the child with the skills that they need to make better choices on a day-to-day basis. The second way we can support the parent with the overwhelm is by giving them the skills. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to be parent coaches. What that means is if you have done our Kids Life Coach certification, you would have an A to Z resource directory, and you would have lots of tools in there that you researched and that you stored, and you're going to share that information with the parent and also signpost them to what they need to put those puzzle pieces together. Then the third thing to support the parent in preventing overwhelm is for you as the coach to become the conduit with all the professionals working with their child. And what that means is that glue that sticks them together is you can write a client case profile using the lifestyle assessment that you do with the child pre and post assessment, and looking at all areas in their life, including eating and sleeping and physical activity and friendships and social environment and toxic influences and stress, family dynamics. You look at all those areas as a coach. Well, if you're coaching properly and with our system at the Kids Life Studio anyway, you should be doing these things. And when you write a report for the professionals that are already working with that child. And you can send that report through to those professionals with the parent's permission and with the parent probably being the referral. And you share that report explaining what your assessment has identified, the gaps that you've seen, the goals you're going to be working towards, and are there any recommendations that they can give you to support the child? And what usually happens is a dialogue will open. Now, it's easier said than done. And in my 2 decades of coaching children, I haven't had to do this many times, but when I have done this, the parties involved always are helpful. Nobody works with children with ill intentions. So let me tell you that. So no matter whether you feel like you're qualified or not, because we have a lot of kids life coaches who, unlike me, I have my master's degree in clinical child psychology and other degrees, who, unlike me, never had that experience, but they are very well qualified and experts in the field of coaching children. But when they are faced with professionals who may have studied a degree at university, like a child psychologist or educational psychologist, very often they may feel overwhelmed themselves, just like the parents. So my request to you is, in order for the parents to not feel overwhelmed, I want you as a coach to feel confident in what it is you present to parents. And by writing that client profile, and if you did our certification, you would have had practice doing that. And we gave you a sample. You need to write a really good, professional, robust report to earn that respect and to engage in productive conversation. Even better, if you can be part of a meeting with the multidisciplinary team and be invited in as one of the key players in that team. Oh, wow, that is like first prize. That's when I'm like, we won the gold medal there. So always aim to be part of that multidisciplinary team, which means that every person is an expert in their own field, including you as a kids life coach. And you have your place and you know your place. And if you understand everybody's role, that really does help. And you can then be the conduit and the feedback to the parent, who very often doesn't sit in on these conversations, especially if it's a school-based team. I find that school-based teams, sometimes they're very good at giving parents feedback, most times not. And it's purely because of time. Time is generally quite an issue for many practitioners who are doing really great work out there. And they really have every good intention of doing a good job and sharing with parents and sharing with professionals. So we have to respect that everybody's trying to do the best that they can. But our job as kids life coaches is to stick the parts together, the missing puzzle pieces. Doesn't mean you have to be an expert, because you can come to a Teaching Tuesday mentorship session or a Thinking Thursday session. You can ask your questions if you have questions about a child that you're working with and you're wanting to know a little bit more. You can reach out to our community. You can ask questions in our WhatsApp group. So there is support for you. So don't ever give ill-founded advice. That's one thing I wanted to ask you to do, is stay in your lane. You don't have to know everything about everything. You're a kids life coach. You facilitate personal growth, personal development. You work on motivation, inspiration, and facilitating the skills for happiness, mindful living. And you do that on a family basis. And the other practitioners will be doing various other things to support children. Now, this leads me to another question I get asked quite frequently, and that is, Is kids life coaching okay for children with neurodevelopmental disorders, autistic children, children who may have ADHD? Now, I don't believe in that word disorder, because I see strength in every single label, because the children that we work with come to us with their own strengths. And our job as coaches is not to focus on fixing them. We can leave that to the other practitioners who remediate and who do a really good job at that. Our job is to give hope. If we could bottle hope and give that bottle to the child to drink and take a little sip every time they're feeling a little bit low or down, give it to their parents, we would, but we can't. So what do? We give them strategies and skills and tools, a little toolbox, like a little backpack that the child can put on, that they can remove the tools and use them when they need to manage anger, to facilitate better communication skills. And we do that through our play-based approach. And so absolutely, yes, you can help children who have been labeled with neurodevelopmental disorders. And I really would encourage you to step into that zone when you're feeling confident and comfortable as a kids life coach. In fact, we have many coaches who have niches where they only work with children with ADHD, or they only work with children who are autistic. And I encourage you to find your niche, find your passion. And very often it's parents who've been through that with their own children, or perhaps you've been labeled. So I want to tell you today that you are the glue that sticks everybody together. Now, remember that there's great value in that for any parent who's feeling overwhelmed. And so today, if you can take one thing away in terms of helping parent with overwhelm, it's that one word that I used earlier. It's just to give them hope. Sometimes parents just lose hope. They look at their child and they feel despondent because their child is faced with so many challenges out of their control. Our role is to really look at the joy and the magical moments that they can have together, and the memory-making moments and the play-based moments, and to give them that gift of sharing time together as a family with less conflict, with better communication, with a better understanding of their roles and responsibilities within the family. So as a kids life coach, I want to encourage you to have that confidence and stand strong in who you are. You can be part of a multidisciplinary team, and you can support parents 110%, 1,000% to overcome their overwhelm if you stay grounded and you stay true to why you actually coach children. And that is to make them the leaders of their own lives so that they can lead fulfilling lives, no matter what it is that they're facing. Really, I've worked with so many children who've been labeled and who've been said they won't achieve X, Y, Z. And guess what? After coaching 7 months, they're achieving maybe not X, Y, Z, but maybe a little bit of X, a little bit of Y, and a little bit of Z. How magical is that? So never, ever allow a label or a child who's been categorized as there's no hope to knock you or overwhelm you. You need to be that hope for the parents who turn to you for that support. There's a reason why they've come to you, because there's no stigma, there's no label, and we start from a really even foundation and we move forward in a goal-orientated approach. So I encourage you to do just that. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. Go out there and make your mark. Be confident as a kids life coach, and know that you're adding so much value to these parents who so often really just want the best for their children, but they just don't know how. So you're not there to coach them, but like I said, you can put all the pieces together for them and hold their hand, act as a tour guide. I don't know about you, but I love traveling. And when I go to foreign countries, it's great to have a tour guide to show me around. And once I know my way around, it's a lot easier and I'm more confident. Parents need exactly the same. So see yourself as that tour guide. You don't have to have all the answers. You can figure them out. You have a team to lean on for support. You should be having professional supervision where you can have debriefing sessions. And if you're not, I highly encourage you to do that. As a coach, you need to be attending these sessions. And this is why our membership coaches do so well, because they keep up to date and they do the debriefs and they attend sessions for best practices and professional supervision. So today, to prevent overwhelm with parents, just stay true to yourself, always believe in the child, and give away that hope so freely and so abundantly that parents really can feel that calmness and that peace, that their child is in good hands and that everything is going to be okay. It may be a struggle and there may be a windy pathway to get there, but with you holding their hand, at least that overwhelm can be minimized. And sometimes that's all parents need. They just need you to say, it's going to be okay. You've got this. I've got your back. So thank you for being that person, for a parent out there who may be faced with difficulties with their child, and that you can be that person who can just really give them that sigh of relief that everything is going to be okay. Because you know what? It always is. Children are enormously, intuitively resilient. And it's when we put our belief into them and we don't see their limitations and challenges as a measure of their success, but we see opportunity in the things that may challenge them as building their character, building their resilience, helping them to move forward in the way that they were meant to be. We were all put on this planet for a purpose, and even children who are faced with enormous challenges and brains who may not always work in a linear way, they have a purpose, and our job is to help them find that purpose and to maximize that and to be of service to humanity. So sending lots of love and zeal your way. Go out there, coach children, be great. And I'm just so grateful that you are doing this amazing work. So give yourself a pat on the back. And any parent that has you as their kids' life coach is really, really fortunate to have you, because you are going to be the one that helps them to put the puzzle pieces together.